Dream a little dream of me. Welcome, kindreds. It's Jessica TheStoryWitch. I have bought the Weaver's Oracle. So I am kind of on a depth here this year, but I've been working with one of the weavers in particular out of this deck already, because Lisa, Tarot Alchemist, very kindly drew one for me from her deck. And as I've been working with her more, since the start of the year, I really wanted to have the actual physical card. I also really want to support Carolyn Hillyer, the creator of this deck, by purchasing my own copy of the deck. This has been a deck that I have been interested in for a few years now. Whenever I've seen people using it on YouTube, I've been really intrigued by it and drawn to it. And yet it seems so big and complex that made me hold back, because I didn't want a whole new. That's what I find with oracles sometimes, when they've got this whole new system, a whole different system. I didn't really want that, but working with one weaver a year seems like a manageable way to do it, which is how I'm going to go about it for this year at least. So I ordered it anyway, and it arrived a couple of days ago. You buy it direct from Carolyn Hillyer on her site I think it's called Seventh Wave Music, something like that is the website. I'll link all the information of where to buy it down below. It is an independent deck. It's not like a mass market deck, so it is a bit more expensive. It wasn't quite so bad for me because I'm in the UK, and as is Carolyn, so that was cheaper, but postage is, it is quite a lot to get it overseas. But you can see, we're not talking a small we're not talking a small deck here, a small box anyway. It came like this in this plastic pouch. I started to open it and then thought I'll actually do it on camera, so that if you haven't seen this already, then you can see it. And on the back it says Weaver's Oracle, Journey Cards and Travel Guide, created from paintings and mythic tales by Carolyn Hillyer. And they really are mythic tales. Each one of these weavers has there's a lot for each card in here. Welcome to the Weaver's Oracle. This oracle, book and 52 cards, is a beautiful distillation of Carolyn's work, created from paintings and writings that span 30 years. All the mythic stories and spirit images around which the oracle has been formed are rooted in high moors, cold rains, and the untamed hills where she has lived and grown her work. They are profoundly inspired by the wild songs of sacred land, the shadowy edges of ancestral memory, and a reverence for deep mythologies that exist close to the earth. The oracle draws on the wisdom inherent in women's journeys as it crosses intuitive landscapes and follows the trails of cunning grandmothers, ice mothers, feral daughters, and women who weave magic out of weather. To those who are familiar with Carolyn's work, the oracle will be a richly textured retrospective and inspiring compilation, as well as a wild alchemy that catches the essence of her craft as a weaver of images, words, and women's archetypal mysteries. To those who newly arrive to her hearth, the Weaver's Oracle is a powerful doorway into ancient landscapes and the soul-shaping journeys that can be found there. And it tells you it's printed with wire-bound book, which is 140 pages, heavyweight paper, black cotton drawstring bag containing 52 cards, which are on silk-coated heavy artboard, all contained inside this lidded storage box. So there's her website, seventhwavemusic.co.uk. So let me take it out. This cellophane, I'll just put that down on the floor. So yeah, this is loose. That's just like kind of I suppose if it was packaged in a shop, so you could see what it is all about. So let's turn it over and open the box. There we go. So in the box we have the cards, and they are quite massive in the pouch, and then here is the book. And the book is also, I was keen to see, because the weaver that I'm working with, you may have seen I recorded the words, Lisa had sent me a photograph of the words for the heron. She's number 15, ancestor of the marriage fire. Each weaver has a yarn, a braid and a cloth. So yeah, like I said, I wanted it. I have been wanting it for a while, and once I started working with Heron specifically, I thought that would mean that I didn't need to get the deck. But things don't always work out as we expect. So it tells me about her braid, the blue spirals and things like that, and they're things that I'm actually considering implementing in my practice as well. Some of these actual physical things, especially like this bit already is standing out to me about her cloth. With our hands fully occupied by hearth and pot and spindle, it can be overwhelmingly difficult for us to rest or dream beside a fire, let alone step beyond our door into the waiting wild. Our attention is fully occupied and our responsibilities are many. And this is why Heron is the right weaver for me to be working with at the moment, because this is where I am. My children are not babies anymore, they're 10 and 6, but still very much in that hearth, pot and spindle stage. So I'll do a quick flick through of the book. So it's spiral bound, which is nice because it lies completely flat. I think it has some general information. So the deck came out in 2016. I think I saw people starting to open them. I've seen them on YouTube since then, so that's like kind of 4 years ago now. And I've been, interested in it since then. So I've done quite well, I think, to hold out this long. So this is cool, a little bit about the Weaver's Oracle in general, words and paintings, and how they're kind of really rooted in the landscape, and that these really are channeled images that have come, not images, connections, soul connections with actual archetypes that she has worked with over a long period of time. So how to work with the Oracle. So I will read, I'm not going to read this all out to you guys now. I just want to sort of see what is here in the book. It tells you there are 52 women who inhabit this oracle. They belong to 4 tribes of weavers with 13 women in each, allied to east, south, west or north. These tribes form the warp, which is the vertical strings of the weaving house and the oracle cloth. Across these tribal alliances, there are 7 clans of weaver, each clan fulfilling a very specific role within the oracle. The clans are named Guardian, Earth, Blood, Life, Bone, Loom, and Death. They form the weft. So, the weft and the warp and the weft weave together to make the cloth. And, weaving, cloth, these are things which we know are more than just fabric. They are the fabric of existence. They are the fabric of life. This is a big thing. It is a big thing. So this is interesting to me already. Like I said, the reason that I have held back on buying this deck before now is because of this system, really, because it is a new system with these guardian clans and the directions and the yarns and the braids and the cloth, So yeah, but I'm not daunted anymore. I want to start to work. So my Heron is from Blood Clan, so I will be reading more about that clan. She's from the South Weavers, so that is something that I will also be paying attention to. And then here we've got like the correspondences of each kind of laid out like that. And then it just works through then. So I think it's like a double page spread for each weaver. Yeah, so I won't flick all the way through there. We'll just go to see if there's anything extra at the end. And you don't have to work with one a year. You could definitely work with one. With it being 52, one a week would make sense, wouldn't it? But it just felt like there's so much that working with one a year seems appropriate for now, especially when it's something, I'm not saying that I won't use this deck at all apart from that. You can ask questions of an oracle obviously as well, but as far as like working deeply with a specific archetype, I'm only going to work with that one specific archetype this year. And then leaving the weaving house. So yeah, there is a little bit of extra. Oracle songs. Songs and drum chants may be useful as you prepare to enter and travel with the oracle. A steady drum rhythm played directly to the belly or quietly to the ear will draw the edge of oracle lands closer to you. Tunes may be intuited or created new. With this travelling music, you might wander far and deep, trusting that your oracle songs will eventually return you home. See the last page for information about album recordings of songs that accompany the weavers in this oracle. And Carolyn is a musician as well, hence the Seventh Wave Music website. And she does have CDs of songs as well. So that is something that I will probably look into this year. I'm not going to do that right now, but it's something for the future to look at, definitely. And then this is obviously about a different thing. Death of Owls Oracle. Dreams of Fire Oracle. So these are some of the other things I think that Carolyn has made. Yeah, so these are about the different oracles. And this is, yeah, last note. Oh, that's interesting. So I've never travelled with tarot as my companion, nor have I been a prolific user of other divination systems into which I've dipped but not lingered. The one set of oracle cards I carried for a while in my pack created very loosely defined gateways through which I could slip into the landscapes that were already encircling my dreams. I sought a deeper understanding of intuitive journeys through making oracle pieces out of the raw elements of the land: ice, ash, clay, bone, herbs, and night, and searching for different realities inside their wild spells. The creating of this Weaver's Oracle has been a revelation in itself. After so many years travelling with the Weavers, I was curious to see what patterns might emerge and impatient to hear how their voices might sound when gathered all together. Their many diverse yarns braided at last into one cloth. Those who are already familiar with my work will recognise stories and fragments in the Oracle book. There are quite a few tales that have spiralled around again from previous publications, song collections and workshop journeys. Since the paintings in this oracle have been the spine running through all of my work during the last 3 decades, some overlap has been inevitable, but I've aimed to brush up those tales into sparkling new versions and to trim and reweave them so they slide smoothly into the oracle and fit closely alongside each other. There was a moment that caught me by surprise during the process of this work and which caused me to laugh out loud, rather overwhelmed and excited. It was when I saw all the paintings in this oracle collected side by side for the very first time, not on their paintboards, for those are very large and no room I know would have space for that, but as a circle of printed images hanging on long washing lines around my studio. Possibly they were laughing too. In that moment I finally realised that my 52 ancient weaving grandmothers were up to the task, ready to step into oracle lands and keen to take us along for the journey. And it tells you more about her and books and things like that. And then that is it. And these are quite handy actually, flaps, so that you can keep your place where you are. And I will keep my place where I am, which is here. So yeah, that is the book. And here are the cards. So it's a plain black corded bag. And these are the backs of the cards, which is the woven cloth. I'm gonna break open. So yeah, these cards are very big, as you can see. My hands are quite small. Obviously I know that it's not a deck that I'm going to be using a lot as like a kind of daily, although you know that could be interesting too. That is definitely one way that you could use it. So let's have a look at these cards. We have Kindle. They feel really nice actually, they're not too stiff. They're nice, yeah, they do feel nice, and I think they probably would shuffle okay actually as well, though I would be nervous too because they are so large. So we have Kindle, Shaman Weaver of Earth, Stone, wow, look at that. Stone, Mother of Time, Edge, Udigan of the Lost Drum. The eyes on these are they're just incredible. Night, Crone of Doorways. Wow, look at that. The crow and the tree growing out of her hands. Shore, Black Coral, Fish Mother. 6 more, Jagged Shamanka. She looks like a character, doesn't she? And she's got small hands like me. They all obviously have their stories, they all have their wisdom, and I find their eyes so intriguing. You know, they're not beautiful images in that kind of patriarchal, what we're supposed to find beautiful sense, and yet they are really beautiful images. They are truthful, real, you know, even obviously they are exaggerated, but they speak to an archetypal truth, a kind of truth behind the truth that we see on the surface. Yeah, I find it really, really interesting. And also how different, you know, the different faces are and the different stories are behind these women. And they are obviously a lot of them are like this, the kind of close-ups, but then there are some that are like this too. You know, when I've seen people doing flick-throughs, walkthroughs of this deck before, because they were paintings in their own right. There's my heron. I'm going to take heron out and keep it here. So that is heron, who is my weaver, who is weaving with me this year. Horse, bear. So I'm interested to know more about all of these, but I'm going to take my time and I'll be working mainly with heron. I don't know yet how I will work with this deck apart from that, so it'll be interesting. Wow. Yeah, so different, aren't they? So different, the images. Really, like sometimes when you have decks with people, I'm not always a lover of like people in decks, and sometimes that is because they're almost kind of like homogenous and they don't have their own characters, and yet this deck is like the opposite of that. It's like so much character to the absolute max with these. Like I say, it speaks to that kind of much more archetypal truth beyond our kind of mundane experience and understanding of what that means. So let me know what your thoughts are of this deck. Like I say, it's not pretty. It's not a pretty deck. It is something else entirely. And the work of it feels like whenever I've seen people using it and working with it here before on YouTube, I could tell there was, you know, you can tell that there is depth to it, there is resonance to it, or definitely for me, it felt that way. It feels like there's work to be done with it, which can either be exciting or or off-putting, depending on your perspective. This is Vessel, Shaman Weaver of Oceans. This is the card that Lisa, Tarot Alchemist, is working with this year. And these have all got their cloth beneath them. Weaver of Mountains. Look at the spider there. You know, there's details in these, and I feel like they would be really powerful to journey with, you know, use them as like a portal where you could go through a meditation to meet these weavers. She looks similar, doesn't she, I think, to my heron. Maybe an older, slightly older version of my heron. So we're almost at the end, 50. Oh wow. That's a very, very powerful image. In silence, the hollowing woman. So yes, that is the Weaver's Oracle. I enjoy using it. It's probably the wrong description. I'm going to benefit from using it. I feel that is going to be the case. Let me know what you think. Do you have this deck? Would you like this deck? You know, is there a particular weaver that calls to you? I think that could be a useful way to use it as well. Maybe just even looking into each of these weavers' eyes as you go through the deck and seeing which one is calling to you right now. I was very resistant to mine when Lisa told me that a heron was my card. I was like, oh, you know, I wanted to have like a nice crone, you know, a crone weaver. I didn't want to have to tend to the marriage fire and do those things that I know I need to do. But there we go. Thank you so much for watching. Warmest blessings, and I will see you very soon.